The game of power and deception. Imagine a leader revered by all, standing tall at the pinnacle of their power. Their strength commands respect, their decisions shape destinies, and their presence silences doubters. Crowds cheer, allies pledge loyalty, and even rivals bow in reluctant admiration. But in the shadows, a trusted confidant watches, not with devotion but with a calculating gaze. A subtle test is set in motion, a whispered rumor, a deliberate misstep, a challenge disguised as support. The leader's strength, once their shield, now becomes their target. Why? Why does admiration so often breed betrayal? Why is strength, the very quality we revere, so ruthlessly tested by those closest to us? This is no modern tale. It's a pattern as old as power itself, one that Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance master of political cunning, understood with chilling clarity. In his world, strength was a currency, but it came with a catch. Those who respect it will test it, probing for cracks in the armor. His philosophy, born in the crucible of treachery and ambition, reveals a truth about human nature that still haunts us today. Why do we challenge the strong? What drives us to undermine the very qualities we admire? This is not just a question of history. It's a riddle that plays out in boardrooms, relationships, and the unseen corners of our minds. Join us as we unravel this paradox, peeling back the layers of power, deception, and the relentless tests that define our world. Machiavelli's world, the birth of ruthless realism. Picture a world where trust is a luxury and betrayal is a currency. Renaissance Italy, a fractured land of city-states locked in a relentless struggle for dominance. It's the early 16th century, and Niccolò Machiavelli, a sharp-eyed diplomat, navigates this treacherous landscape. His home, Florence, teeters on the edge of chaos, caught between warring families, scheming popes, and foreign invaders. Here, strength isn't just admired, it's survival. But Machiavelli saw something deeper. Those who wield power are never safe. Their strength draws loyalty, but it also invites tests, subtle, ruthless probes from allies and enemies alike, waiting for a moment of weakness. Machiavelli's masterpiece, The Prince, distills this brutal reality into a guide for rulers. Consider Cesare Borgia, a figure Machiavelli studied closely. Borgia was a master of virtue, the skill and strength to bend fate to his will. He unified territories, outwitted rivals, and inspired fear and respect. Yet his allies, sensing his rise, tested him with betrayals, and Fortuna, the unpredictable force of luck, ultimately toppled him. Machiavelli learned that strength must be relentless, adaptive, and ever vigilant, because those who respect it are often the first to challenge it. Why? Because human nature craves certainty. We admire the strong, but we test them to ensure their power is real, not a facade. This insight, born in a world of daggers and whispers, sets the stage for understanding why strength is never enough on its own. It must endure the crucible of scrutiny. As we move forward, let's explore the psychology behind this relentless testing. A force that shapes not just history, but our lives today. The psychology of testing strength. Why do we test those we admire? Why does strength, the very trait that commands respect, become a magnet for scrutiny? To understand this, we must peer into the labyrinth of the human mind, where evolutionary instincts and social dynamics collide. At its core, our fascination with strength is primal. In the wild, a wolf pack circles its alpha, probing for weakness, not out of malice but survival. A weak leader endangers the group, so they test, challenge, and sometimes overthrow. Humans, though clothed in civilization, play the same game. We respect strength because it promises security, but we test it to ensure it's not an illusion. Psychologically, this urge is rooted in our need for certainty. Evolutionary psychology suggests we're wired to seek reliable leaders, those whose strength can withstand pressure. Yet this respect comes with a paradox. We probe what we admire. In relationships, a partner might test resolve with small provocations. In workplaces, colleagues subtly challenge authority to gauge its limits. Even in politics, allies turn into rivals, testing a leader's mettle. Machiavelli understood this as a universal truth. Strength invites scrutiny because it's a currency of trust, and trust must be earned repeatedly. Cognitive biases amplify this. Our brains, skeptical of facades, demand proof through tests, often cloaked as loyalty or doubt. This ruthless testing isn't just instinct, it's strategy. Machiavelli saw it in the courts of Italy where flattery hid daggers. Today it's in the colleague who questions your competence or the friend who pushes your boundaries. These tests reveal a deeper truth. We challenge strength not to destroy but to affirm its reality. As we turn to history, we'll see how this psychology has shaped empires and betrayals, echoing Machiavelli's warnings across time. Historical echoes. Strength tested through time. The dance of power and betrayal is not confined to Machiavelli's Renaissance. Across history, strength has been both a crown and a target, revered yet relentlessly challenged. Consider Julius Caesar, Rome's indomitable conqueror. His military triumphs and iron will earn him the loyalty of legions and the awe of the Senate. Yet on the Ides of March 44 BCE, it was Brutus, his trusted ally, who plunged the dagger deepest. Caesar's strength invited respect, but it also provoked fear and envy, turning admiration into a fatal test. Why? Because strength, unchecked, threatens the balance of power, and those closest often strike to restore it. Or take Cleopatra, Egypt's cunning queen. Her strength lay not in armies, but in her intellect and charm, weaving alliances with Rome's mightiest, first Caesar, then Mark Antony. She respected their power, yet tested it ruthlessly, manipulating their desires to secure her throne. Her story reveals a twist. Sometimes the tester is the one wielding strength in disguise, using subtlety to probe and control. In another era, we see this in the fall of Napoleon, whose brilliance united Europe under his banner, only for allies like Talleyrand to betray him when his strength wavered. These stories echo Machiavelli's insight. Strength draws admiration, but it also breeds suspicion. Those who respect power, whether senators, queens, or advisors, test it to expose flaws or seize control. This pattern, etched in blood and ambition, transcends time, revealing a truth about human nature that persists. As we turn to the present, we'll see how these ancient tests of strength play out in our modern world, from boardrooms to social media, where the stakes are no less high. The modern arena. Strength in today's world. The tests of strength Machiavelli observed in Renaissance courts have not faded. They've simply found new stages. In today's world, the arenas of politics, corporate boardrooms, social media, and even personal relationships pulse with the same dynamic. Strength is admired, but relentlessly probed. Consider a modern political leader, their every decision dissected by allies and critics alike. A single misstep, a poorly chosen word, or a moment of hesitation can spark a cascade of challenges, from media scandals to internal party revolts. The public respects their authority, yet tests it through skepticism, demanding constant proof of resilience. In the corporate world, the game is no less ruthless. A CEO's bold vision might earn admiration, but colleagues and competitors probe for weaknesses, missed targets, a faltering stock price, or a whispered rumor of doubt. Social media amplifies this scrutiny, turning strength into a public spectacle. A celebrity or influencer celebrated for their charisma faces relentless tests. One wrong post can ignite a firestorm of criticism, as followers who once adored them question their authenticity. Even in personal relationships, we see it. Friends or partners pushing boundaries, testing resolve through subtle provocations, seeking reassurance or leverage. Machiavelli's lens reveals why. Strength, whether in a leader, a colleague, or a loved one, is a promise of stability, but it must be proven under pressure. Today, tools like propaganda, misinformation, and public shaming intensify these tests, echoing the conspiracies and power plays of old. We live in a world where respect is fleeting, and every display of strength invites a challenge. As we move toward understanding this paradox, let's explore how to navigate these tests, drawing on Machiavelli's timeless wisdom to thrive in a world that never stops probing. The paradox of strength. Embracing the test. We stand at the heart of a paradox. Strength commands respect, yet it invites relentless scrutiny. Machiavelli saw this truth clearly. Those who admire power are often the first to test it, probing for flaws to confirm its worth or exploit its limits. This dynamic, woven into human nature, leaves us with a question. How do we navigate a world that reveres strength but challenges it at every turn? The answer lies not in avoiding the tests, but in embracing them as opportunities to prove resilience. Machiavelli's The Prince offers a guide. Strength must be tempered with virtù, the cunning and adaptability to anticipate and counter challenges. A leader or anyone wielding influence must recognize tests for what they are, not personal betrayals, but inevitable trials of credibility. In practice, this means staying vigilant without paranoia, projecting confidence while acknowledging vulnerability. A manager facing a skeptical team, for instance, might invite critique to demonstrate openness, turning a test into a display of strength. In personal relationships, responding to provocations with calm resolve can transform doubt into trust. Yet there's a deeper lesson here. Strength alone is not enough. Machiavelli taught that true power balances fear and love, resilience and relatability. By embracing tests, we affirm our capacity to endure, but we also reveal our humanity, disarming those who challenge us. This paradox, strength as both shield and target, demands self-awareness. We must ask ourselves, who tests our strength and why? Are we proving our worth or merely reacting to their game? As we conclude, let's reflect on how this eternal struggle shapes not just our lives, but the world we inhabit. Conclusion. The eternal dance of power. We've journeyed from the shadowed courts of Renaissance Italy to the frenetic arenas of today, tracing a truth as old as humanity itself. Strength earns respect, but it is never free from scrutiny. Machiavelli's piercing insight, born in a world of betrayal and ambition, reveals why those who admire power are often the first to test it. From Caesar's fall to modern leaders navigating public trials, the pattern endures. Strength is a beacon, drawing both loyalty and suspicion. This dance of power, where admiration breeds challenge, is not a flaw but a feature of our nature, a relentless cycle that shapes empires, relationships, and our very sense of self. What does this mean for us? It demands that we look closer at the tests we face, the ones we impose, and the motives behind them. Are we proving strength or merely reacting to the prods of others? Machiavelli's wisdom urges us to master this game, to wield strength with cunning, to embrace tests as proof of resilience, and to question the dynamics of power in our world. The next time you sense a challenge, a subtle jab, a whispered doubt, pause and ask, who seeks to test your strength, and why? In that question lies the key to not just surviving but thriving in a world that respects strength but tests it ruthlessly. This is the eternal dance of power, and it's one we all must learn to navigate.